Then he threw his arms around his brother Benjamin and wept. And Benjamin embraced him weeping, and he kissed all his brothers and wept over them. Afterwards, his brothers talked with him. He started out as an overconfident person in a dysfunctional family.
Joseph was 17 years old when he was betrayed and sold by his brothers.
And he's taken into captivity and made a slave.
And he just had God to rely on. He had nobody else to turn to.
Joseph being the favorite son of Jacob. Jacob mourned him for many, many days.
He decides to live a very godly life and to work hard, and people see that in him.
He's sort of the example to live toward and the mark to reach. His level of forgiveness and his level of humility at the end and servant attitude.
I think it's so easy for us to do everything that's right when things are going so perfectly in our lives. Yet for him, it's just like one after another. Things just keep going wrong, and people who he trusts continually betray him.
He had all this time to go through this, to evaluate it. I think that he probably never expected to see his brothers again.
His life was already so changed from the beginning that when he found out that his brothers were alive, he couldn't just go and not forgive them.
He was 44 years old the next time he met them. That's a span of 27 years.
If you do not forgive others, his Father will not forgive you. So when you do not forgive, you're blocking your own forgiveness from God.
Well, I think forgiveness is so important. We do it not just for others, but I think we just do it as well for ourselves.
Quite often, the person doesn't care if we forgive them or not. But we are the ones who suffer, and we are the ones who are either in prison or we are released by how much we forgive.
I do believe that each of us have a story to tell, and God is working in and through our lives to bring about a redemptive story. I can reflect back to my beginnings when I first started in a spiritual journey and watch the hand of God.
He is an example of what we should be as godly characters.
Maybe he thought his father was dead, and then his father was standing right there before him. It must have been one very good feeling.
The word of the Lord tried Joseph, but he held to that word. Just like we today, if we're people of faith, we will hold to the word of God.
The great story that God is creating is the redemptive story where we're all together.
I think sometimes forgiveness is a process. You have to kind of work things out, and I guess he did. He took his time, and I think he did well.
I think he had patience and long suffering to go through all those trials, but most importantly, he had a deep faith in God that he would help him and get him through anything.
Forgiveness was in his nature, mainly because of all that he went through.
Even in the midst of not being perfect, there's grace, there's forgiveness, and there's love and compassion. We need to talk to those who have wronged us and that we've wronged and build bridges, not walls.